It was supposed to be a routine hiking expedition, an adventure into the Ural Mountains for a group of 9 experienced hikers. But what happened next remains one of the most terrifying and unexplained mysteries in modern history. On January 23, 1959, Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old engineering student, led a group of 8 fellow hikers on a trek through the snow-covered peaks of Russia's northern Urals. They were all highly skilled, prepared for the extreme conditions, and had carefully planned their route. They even left behind diaries and photographs, capturing smiling faces and excitement, completely unaware that they would never return. When the group failed to check in at their scheduled time, search teams were sent out. What they discovered was beyond horrifying. The strange and gruesome discovery. The first clue that something had gone terribly wrong was their tent, completely abandoned, partially buried in snow. But what made no sense? The tent had been cut open from the inside. It was as if they had slashed their way out in a panic, running half naked into the freezing cold. The temperature that night was below -30 degrees Celsius or -22 degrees Fahrenheit, far too deadly to be outside without protection. Their boots, coats, and equipment were still inside the tent, as if they had fled in absolute terror. Following their footprints in the snow, search teams made a series of shocking discoveries. 2 bodies were found first, both nearly naked, with their hands and feet covered in frostbite. Their fingers were scraped raw, as if they had been climbing trees in desperation. 3 more bodies were found sprawled in the snow, their faces frozen in expressions of horror. It looked as if they had collapsed mid-run, their bodies too exhausted to continue fleeing. But it was the last 4 bodies, discovered 2 months later, that left investigators completely baffled. These final victims had horrific injuries. 1 hiker had a crushed skull, but no external wounds to explain how it happened. 2 others had multiple broken ribs, as if they had been hit by an extreme force. And then there was Lyudmila Dubinina. Her tongue, lips, and eyes were missing, as if surgically removed. Even stranger, their clothes were found to contain high levels of radiation. The case made no sense. There were no signs of animal attacks, no avalanche debris, and no indication of foul play, yet something terrifying had killed them. What could have happened? The theories. For decades, people have tried to explain what happened that night, but no single explanation fully accounts for all the bizarre details. 1. The avalanche theory. Some believe the hikers panicked due to an avalanche, cutting their way out of the tent and fleeing in confusion. But this doesn't explain the radiation, crushed bones, or missing body parts. No signs of an avalanche were found, and their footprints remained clearly visible in the snow, which wouldn't happen if an avalanche had swept through. 2. Military experiment gone wrong. Others claim they stumbled upon a secret Soviet weapons test, possibly involving radioactive bombs or infrasound weapons. The high radiation levels on their clothes could suggest they were exposed to something highly classified. Some even believe the Soviet government covered up the real cause of their deaths. 3. Paranormal and UFO theories. Eyewitnesses in nearby villages reported seeing strange orange lights in the sky that night, glowing orbs floating above the mountains. Could the hikers have witnessed something they weren't meant to see? Some researchers believe they were exposed to an unknown energy force, which could explain their mass panic, radiation, and crushed bones without external wounds. 4. The Russian Yeti theory. A wilder theory suggests the hikers were attacked by a mysterious creature, possibly a Russian Bigfoot. One of the victims' diary entries mentioned something watching them in the trees, and deep humanoid footprints were found in the snow. Did they encounter a predator they had no chance of escaping? The chilling aftermath. The Soviet authorities closed the case quickly, stating that the hikers died from an unknown compelling force. But what does that even mean? The incident was classified for decades, fueling endless speculation and conspiracy theories. Families were left with no real answers, and to this day, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the creepiest, most terrifying mysteries in history. Want to learn more about some of the most grim crimes in history? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more chilling stories from the Crim Vault.